All right, what's up, my mathletes? That's right, Mr. Muscarella in that Broad Run Math Department, rocking out with a final installment on our notes on special angle pair relationships. So let's go to examples 6 and 7. Haha, here we go. You almost done. So when we take a look at this, all right, for this example, in the diagram below, which angle forms a linear pair with angle DOE? So when I think to myself, where is DOE? So DOE, when I take a look at that, D and O and E, so that part, D's there. Ooh, let me use a little bit different color. So D's right here, O is the vertex there, and then E comes out here. So when I look at that, that's the angle I'm talking about. And it's like, all right, what angle makes a linear pair with that? So remember, a linear pair, two angles that are next to one another, adjacent, that make a straight line. So when I do that, when I look at angle DOE, the only angle that makes a linear pair with is going to be this one right next to it, which is kind of that same gross color, that little blue, that baby blue. So when you got that, we'll take a look at that name of that angle. So the one, that angle that's right next to it, boom, is AOE. So angle AOE, so angle AOE, that is the angle that is forming a linear pair with that. Now remember, you can name that angle EOA, same spot, same place in space that we're doing that. So that's that piece of it. Now, when we take a look at this guy right here, take out this next piece. Is there a way we can find the measure of angle BOC? So let's see where that is. So B's here, comes down, O, and then C goes that way. All right, so we're talking about this value right in here. Is there any way to find that? All right, so when we do our analysis, of course, yes, there is a way. Because if I look from point A all the way around here to point D, ooh, that's kind of funky, but you know what I mean. So from A all the way to D, we know that makes a semicircle. That's 180 degrees. So before, we were talking about linear pairs. That's two angles. And a linear pair will add up to 180. But sometimes you can have more than two angles add up to 180. Now, of course, they're not called a linear pair because a pair is only two. And we don't have a name for three angles that add up to 180 like we do for two angles that add up to 180. So with this, we just take all three angles that we have and we find their sum and set that equal to 180. Now, two of the angles that we're given, right? So if I take a look at angle AOB, so that angle plus a second angle plus a third angle, all three of those angles are going to add up to 180 degrees. Two of the angles are actually 45 degrees. So that's kind of cool. So 45 degrees is one of my angles, plus 45 degrees for the other angle, and then that angle BOC, like I don't know what that one is. So we can just let X be that. So let's kind of define that. So let X be angle BOC. So we're going to let X be that angle. Now, 245s, when you find their sum, you just get 90 for the value of their sum, and you set that equal to 180. So 90 plus X equals 180. X ends up being 90 degrees. So the value of angle BOC, so that piece right there, so angle, and put a little M in front of it, because, again, that's dictating, that's good mathematical notation there. So the measure of angle BOC is going to be 90, and then degrees are little units. So that's how we could find that, because sometimes you can have more than two angles that form a line. So with that said, let's take a look at example 6 here, right? So check ourselves here with this. We got 53, we got 65, and we have an X. And again, all three of these angles, they make a semicircle or a straight line, and we know the sum of those things that are making it up is going to be 180. So as you do that, we'll take a look at that. And you can probably do this piece in your head, but we'll kind of think about it like this. 180 minus that 53 minus the 65. Whatever that gives us, right? Whatever that gives us, that's going to give us the value of X. So I'll let you pause, do your little calculations and everything, and then come on back, see if you get the same thing, same value. Now, for me, when I did that, I came up with a value of 62 when we did that. So this value right here for X, that's 62 degrees. So 62 degrees, that would be the value for X. Now, if we take a look at this one, same kind of idea on this one, right? And again, there's lots of different ways you could approach it. So I'll think aloud through a couple of them. Some people might go 180 minus the 20 minus the 60 minus the 60 again. So some people might think about it like that. Other people might think about it, so I'm going to use a different color here. Other people might think about it by saying, well, let me take 20 and 60 and 60 and add that all up. 60 and 60 gives me 120 plus another 20 is 140. So they might just do 180 minus 140. Either way you go about thinking about that, we know when we get that difference, when we subtract those values, those angles that were given from 180, we come up with a value of x being 40 degrees. So that's how much x would be in this example. Now over here on this last one, a little bit trickier because x is wedged in the middle of all that junk. No big deal, no problem. Again, take your time, do your arithmetic correctly. And on this one, we'll have 180 minus 70 minus a 55 minus a 30. So again, lots of different ways you can combine things and move them around, because I know when I look at this, right, all four of these angles right there are 180 degrees. So if I know three of them, I can find their difference from using from 180, and that will give me a whopping 25 degrees. All right, so 25 degrees would be the value of x in this case. All right, so those are some pretty basic examples. Now, of course, we got to kick it up with some algebra, right? So with this, let's take a look at this. We got to set up an equation to solve for x. Then we got to find the measure of each angle. So let's kind of take a look at this. And again, I know I keep kind of hammering this home, but these three angles, all three of them, they're going to make 180 degrees. So just like I would for any other equation, we're going to write that very neatly and very organized. So the first angle is angle POS. So angle POS or SOP, however you want to look at that, that angle, and again, generally speaking, we're going to have one angle plus another angle plus the other angle. We know all three of them are going to add up to 180. But angle POS or SOP, that part is 5x plus 4. Now my other angle, going in order, so angle SOR, that part is just x minus 2. And then my last angle, angle ROQ, is going to be 3x plus 7. I have all those have a sum of 180. Now again, I'm going to combine like terms here. So 5x plus an x plus a 3x. Those three terms do add up to a sum of 9x. Now, my other values, when I take a look at these pieces here, so let's go ahead and analyze our numerals there. So plus 4 minus 2, that gives me a sum so far of 2. And then if I add 7 to that, so 2 plus 7, that gives me a sum of 9. So plus 9 equals 180. Subtracting 9 from both sides, I'll get 9x has a value of 172. And you got to be careful on that because it's not 172, it's 171, bro. And then when I divide 9 into 171, so here again, a little math trick, you know, some middle school math rules. If you add up those digits, 1 plus 7 plus 1, if I add those all up, I know I get 9. And if any time that happens, that tells me that 9 is going to go into that value. Now, when you add up the digits, the sum just has to equal a number 9 goes into. And that's the case here. So 9 goes into 9. So I know 9 is going to go into 171. So that's pretty cool. When I do that arithmetic, you're going to get a quotient of 19. So I figured out x was 19. Woohoo! Yay! That's awesome. Amazing. Now, one at a time, excuse me, I've got to make sure that I plug in these correctly to take my time and find that. So angle POS, I'm like, all right, cool. I'm going to have 5 times my 19 and then plus 4. And then for angle SOR, I'm going to take 19, all right, because that's what the value of x was, minus 2. And for angle ROQ, that was 3 times 19 and then plus 7. When I calculate those values, I do them one at a time, just take my time. And as I do that, I'll come up with 99 for angle POS. I'll get 17 for angle SOR. And then measure angle ROQ is 64. Now, if I want to make sure I did my arithmetic correctly and I got the correct value of x, don't be lazy, take it to the next level, do this last step. So if I add up these three values, so 99 plus 17 plus 64, I want to see, does that equal 180, right? I want to make sure that that equals 180, because if it doesn't, then I got an issue. So that does add up to 180, cool beans, check. So we checked ourselves. We ain't going to wreck ourselves. So we good on this one. So again, take your time. Make sure that your work is nice, it's neat, and it's organized. Now, some people, again, depending on your mathematical abilities, these 2 steps that we did right there, some people might be able to go to that second step and do 9x plus 9 equals 180. You might already see that. But however you roll with it, take your time, set up your equations, do your arithmetic correctly, and check yourself. All right, that's it for this video. Thank you guys for watching. Thank goodness this one's over, man. We got more for you later, but that's it for now. And I'll catch you on the flip side. Peace out.